Hello, folks. Welcome back once again to the Path to Recovery podcast. Episode 30 today is the art of meditation. It's like watching a candle in the wind, literally. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to this podcast series, and please, by all means, share it with someone you know that could possibly benefit from it. And it may be the catalyst to changing their lives. Due to popular demand, here we are with a podcast on basic meditation. Actually, it's probably the fact that during the last show I said I would make this meditation podcast. But regardless, so this podcast is going to be designed to assist anyone in learning how to meditate with a very basic process. A lot of people struggle with merely the concept of meditation, let alone how to meditate. So what I'm going to try to do is break it down quickly and easily so that it isn't intimidating or feel like it's just too much work. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the struggles with meditation and the fears of it. I think there's a stigma of sorts with meditation for those not doing it. That it's either too much work or maybe it's too hard to concentrate for more than a minute. And when you believe you don't have strong focus, it's just not something that you can actually do. That is, until you try it and commit to making it part of your everyday. The fear of meditation is, well, I guess I believe the fear of meditation may be that it's kind of too spiritual or too woo-woo and only used by granola-eating gypsies. The corporate American image was believing that meditation was for the weak and very unprofessional thing to do at work. Now, thankfully, there are tens of thousands of major corporations that insist on their employees take time each day to meditate, mostly because it works. It works to ease the mind and release the stresses of the day. It provides quiet time for rest and recovery. It opens up avenues of deeper thought and productivity, not just at the workplace either. And if you can do it at work, just imagine how beneficial it will be at home, where the real stresses are. Once you learn how, you can do this anywhere at any time. Now, I actually feared it for most of my youth, thinking I didn't really need any of it because I thought it was a little bit of hocus pocus. I didn't need any of that to get through my day because, I had everything going on and I was all that in a bag of chips. And thankfully for my Native American cultural practices, it brought meditation directly to me and to my kids. Now about 30 years later, meditation and prayer are critical to my everyday routines. It's fully integrated into every day. I don't have a day that doesn't include either or both. So, what is the art of meditation? As I mentioned in the previous podcast, the one called How We Can Add God in Our Healing, the act of meditating is more of a technique. There are thousands upon thousands of techniques out there online and through programs and classes and even at your local gyms. What we want to focus on is first finding which technique works for you. The art of meditation is based on the technique you use and how you use it. And just to be clear, folks, it really isn't an art form. It's simply a practice for healing your inner you. Some people make it seem like an art form and insist that you do the same. I'm letting you know that if you turn it into an art form, you're going to be way overthinking it, and you need to release that desire. Meditation is your way of helping healing you, not showing off to others or bragging rights or a conversation piece. It's your private time to be with you, with God, or your desired higher power. It's a healing process, a communing process. It's an inner cleansing. Now that we have those fun things taken care of, let's get into one of the simplest methods of meditation. After that, I'll go into a short meditation process that I've used for decades and have taught my friends, clients, and even strangers that seem to have worked exceptionally well for them as well as me. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, even these two techniques may not work for you, but it's important that you give each technique at least 3 attempts before discounting it. Also, keep this in mind, guys. It isn't the technique that becomes the issue. It's your ability to connect with the technique. Once you figure out a way of meditating and the concepts of meditating, you can then expand your areas of meditation through all sorts of different modalities or different techniques. So just keep it in mind. So let's begin with the most basic form of meditation. All I want you to do is get as comfortable as possible. I'm going to ask you to take a moment just to do that right now. Next thing I want you to do is simply think about one thing that you did today that made you smile. Did you get it? Did you get that one thing? All I was looking for was one thing that made you smile today. You got it? There you go. Meditation complete. Yes, it is that simple. What I just had you do, guys, is you cleared your mind of all the crap and congestion of the day to allow yourself to focus on one thing. That is the essence of meditation in its simplest form. Focus. Congratulations, guys. All right, now let's take it a little deeper. We're going to take that simple process just a little bit deeper. So begin reorganizing yourself to once again get as comfortable as possible. Take another moment to do that right now. Now what I want you to do is to go back and capture that same moment when you smiled. Let's try to really think hard about that moment. Bring that into you right now. Now I want you to take a moment to harness the exact situation that created that moment of happiness. Seek the details about it. Look for the key pieces that brought on your smile. Focus on that. All right, guys, once again, you've accomplished a meditation moment. Notice how easy it was and how short it was? The key was that you focused, even though you may have thought you couldn't. All we did was allowed you to start learning how to meditate without the pressures of being in a class or group. Meditating solo. Your meditation. Now imagine if you did this, once a day for 3 days. You could probably do that, right? I mean, that was only, 30 seconds? Maybe a minute at the most? Imagine if you could do that once a day for the next 3 days. That would be 3 meditations in 3 days. All you do from that point on is to repeat the process exactly the same way and just add another moment of deep thought to recall some special event that brought you happiness or peace or joy or love. The length of time it takes is not important at all, ever. We're not trying to see how long we can meditate. We're trying to get quality, not quantity. Focus on the quality of your meditation. Over a short period of time, maybe a day or 3 or maybe a week, maybe more, you'll find it easier and easier to seek, find, and perform your meditation moments. One day at a time, as with everything. Sound good? All right, cool. All right, folks, you can either stop this podcast and try doing some meditation on your own using those same simple processes I just introduced you to, or you can continue to listen in to hear my most efficient and what I call the simplest technique of assisting someone in a deeper meditation. It's up to you. Feel free. All right, here we go. So, folks, this meditation requires you to find the following 3 things. First, a quiet place. That's going to be anywhere that there is no interruptions or background noise, not even music. Remember, we're starting to learn how to meditate. We're not ready for working through distractions yet. Second thing is, you got to find somewhere comfortable to either sit or lay down. This may take considerable time, so you want to be 100% comfortable. The third thing is, for today's technique, I need you to have a lit candle that's going to last as long as our meditation, which should be like 10 to 12 minutes, somewhere around there. This candle is going to act as our visual focal item. We are going to ultimately not need it after a while, but at first, we need the image of the candle and the wick burning. Now, not all meditations are going to need a candle. Remember, this is only one technique. So take a moment to get yourself a candle, pause the podcast, and come back as soon as you're ready. So we got everything we need. We're comfortable in a quiet place, and we have a candle, or you could basically imagine it. You don't even have to have a candle. But anyway, let's go with the fact that we all have a candle. So I want it to be lit, and I want your candle to be close enough to you for you to clearly see the wick as it burns. Organize yourself in such a way, and I can pause for you. Now, we don't want it too close. We want it just close enough so that your visuals can work. All right, folks, here we go. In your sitting or lying position, I want you to look at the entire candle. I want you to pay close attention to the shape of your candle. You don't need to study it. Just get familiar with it. See if you can notice marks on it. Maybe old wax lumps, or if it's new or old. How about the color of the wax? How tall it is, or how short it is? The candle is the entire focus of our meditation. It's going to act as the holy presence that supports the flame. It surrounds the wick completely and provides a place for the wick and the flame to work together. It's the completeness, the oneness of the candle. Now, take a look at the flame. I want you to notice right away that the flame has this sort of dance. Notice how it flows side to side, up and down. Notice it has no real pattern at all. It all seems random. Watch the colors of the flame slowly glide into each other. The blue is dominating the bottom. There's almost a purplish black center. The yellow has several different levels of color tone. As you go up the flame, the yellow gets brighter. Look for the orange and red at the outside of the flame. Notice how they almost look perfect. Now focus back on the dance of the flame. This time, I want you to watch the yellow color do its dance. Take a moment to simply watch that yellow colored dance. Now try to focus on the very tip of the flame. The dance seems incredibly smooth and purposeful, like it's trying to lull you into a sleep, rocking you back and forth, kind of like a mother with an infant in her arms. Feel how powerful that sway seems to you. Feel the love within that movement, the caressing, the holding, the care. You're experiencing the feminine aspect of the flame, the part that coddles and consoles, the part that births change. The flame burns away the old, unnecessary things, like wounds, past hurts, pains, and anguish. It's the true essence of the Divine Mother. I'm going to let you focus on that emotional moment. Go ahead and feel it. All right, folks, now let's journey to the wick. I want you to see how clearly the wick bends over, how it's curled kind of like a shepherd's crook, how it holds the flame, how it supports the entirety of the flame. See how the flame doesn't appear to be on the wick at all, as if it knows it's there to support it. Therefore, it doesn't seem to burn it. The wick is the divine masculine, the support system for the flame, keeping the flame in place, holding the flame close to it, yet letting the flame dance. It's surrounded by the candle. I want you to hold that moment. Now, as you have the candle in your sight, I want you to lightly focus on the areas surrounding the candle. We're not looking for focus. We're looking to have our focus on the candle, wick, and flame, but to use that peripheral vision, that view, to notice the surroundings. Just recognize how focusing on the entire candle makes everything else around you fuzzy and blurry. Can you see it without seeing it? We're going to call that the veil. The veil that we created to supposedly keep us separate from God. Keep your eyes on the flame. This veil is how we use our human eyes. It's the world around us. Focus on the yellow part of the flame for me. This veil, in its blurriness, will never show us the truth. It's designed to give us an unclear view of who we are and where we are. Now focus on the blue part of the flame. Our desire to be holy is one step away. It's one of the simplest things to do, yet it seems so hard to do. Now I want you to unfocus on the candle, the wick, and the flame, and look at your surroundings. All of these surroundings, this is your human world. This is all the worldly things that you believe you need to be happy. This is the illusion of happiness, because none of these things can make you happy. You make you happy. You are a divine being, a child of God, a holy being. Your happiness is fully found in God, in God's love. You already have all the happiness you could ever imagine. It's all within you, not without. It's not outside of you. It's not people. It's not places. It's not things. It's your connection with God. Folks, the meditation you just experienced was to show you that clarity is merely focusing on the truth. The candle is the clarity of God. God surrounds all things. God is the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The blurred vision I presented to you is the earth as we seem to live on it. It's the illusion of happiness, the illusion of peace, joy, and abundance. It's the illusion of love. It's that stuff. Whereas the clear view that we've got when we were focused on the candle, the wick, and the flame, that is purely God's love for us, for everyone, for everything, everywhere. Thank you very much, folks, for hanging out for a few short minutes doing a simple yet pretty deep meditation with me. I have many other styles and many other techniques that I've used in the past years. I may be sharing some of those on future podcasts if I'm convinced enough by some of my listeners. We'll see how that comes out. But thank you very much for your time, for your energy, for your desire to be here in the moment, for your desire to be love and to show love and to try to heal and to go through the path to recovery, taking those steps. I am so honored and blessed to be trying to take those steps with you and offering as much tools for free as I can possibly do. I thank you so much for everything. God bless you all, and I will talk to you next time.